Good morning, podcast community. We were just talking about Chet. He didn't even know it. Bartina was saying, "Yeah, I got three printers in my room. I can't do anything with." This is the common thing that we have for our seniors. Like technology's moving fast. We have no idea all this stuff. They want to put us all online. Hey, we still like papers, books, magazines. We still like touching and feeling stuff. So, Chet, thanks for being with us. We wanted you to introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and who you serve.
All right. Well, thank you, Pete, for first of all having me on your platform. I
Mhm.
truly appreciate it because I have such a great message for so many people. My name is Chet Beasley. Did 20. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Grew up here. From the age of 4 until now. I'll be 50 in this July. Thank God we made it. Um, but I did 20 years in law enforcement, Pete. That's how I served my community in the first place. So I've always been of service. And then my mother was a teacher. She taught for 32 years in public schools. So I have that in my background that comes honestly.
Mhm.
But I started in law enforcement, and then when I had my fill of it, but I still was in the mood of serving, and so I started. I became a Medicare broker. And
Mhm.
so I got into Medicare, and then I was serving my seniors. And then within my first year of being a broker, I didn't realize that there was a blackout period during that first year during the AEP, during the annual enrollment period. And so I couldn't make any money right then. So I had to pivot. And so my bank account wasn't set up that I could not make any money for the next 3 months. And so I ended up supplementing my income by uh, getting people qualified for government tablets through the Connectivity Program. Say that
Mhm.
3 times fast. The ACP. So when I did that, I said I had this bright idea. Say, hey, this will be great for some of my Medicare clients because they this would be just perfect because they're wireless tablets and tablets that have their own built-in Wi-Fi. So this would be great. So after I gave it to about my first 5 clients, they said, "Hey, Chet, thank you for the tablet, but how do I use it?" And
Mhm.
so I said, "Wow." And so I knew there were directions in the box, but I knew they needed much more than that. So after about the third time asking me that, I said, "You know what? Let me let me create curriculum for them." So I created first 4 curriculum that I created were creating a Gmail because an email is like a digital driver's license on the internet in the
Mhm.
digital world.
Yep.
And then I created a how to create a social security online profile so they don't have to go to the brick and mortar anymore. They could access it on their devices.
Mhm.
How to order groceries online and download WhatsApp, and because WhatsApp's encrypted, and they can also call loved ones overseas for free if they needed to. And
Mhm.
so those are my first 4. And so uh, after I did that, I started my company, Bridging Technologies ATL, and that's how we got started 3 years ago. Now I've morphed into teaching 27 different classes. Anything, yeah, anything from, like I said, from creating a Gmail to QR codes are a big thing that are out now that a lot of even people even younger than me, don't know how to use, or
Yes.
what is that.
Totally.
So
Totally.
QR codes, how to navigate through your medical providers portal. That's big with telehealth. All of these things. And what I do is teach in a way that uh, you apply it to real life situations, real world situations. So, it's not about playing solitaire, although they our seniors need that break, but I do things that will technically save your life.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? It's interesting you say, like, you had to pivot. Like, you get into something and you think you know what you're doing is, I mean, but all of a sudden that blackout period forced you to kind of move into a different area, but you knew the needs of the area you were going to tap into by virtually being around seniors. It wasn't like you sit there at the TV and go, "Hey, I think I'm going to service seniors."
Right.
You're in there engaging with them. You're seeing the challenges. You're seeing all the obstacles. And we met at the Family Advocacy Center, and actually the DA, Brody Flynn was on my podcast, and so we talked about you.
Oh,
You
wow.
know, and really you struck a nerve that day, because that is a big challenge, the gap between the young and the old, and how he was talking about that. Just for our viewers that weren't there, that he was at a town hall meeting, I think it was like in Austell or something, and
There's a Mableton.
Mableton. Okay. And so the person goes like, "Yeah, I need this." And he goes, "Well, just get me your email address." And he goes, "I don't have an email address."
Right.
And it's like, that's the reality of our senior population, is we're not connected like the youth. So there has to be an area where you're closing that gap. And so I like the fact that you have all these different courses. That's crazy. I mean, we have so many needs in our senior community when it comes to knowing the world that we're moving into. So, what do you see? Like, you fell in love with the fact that seniors were asking you about certain things because you're in the Medicare and you're talking with your clients and they're telling you, "Yeah, I would like to have this, this, this." Go back to the tablet, because I wasn't even aware that that was something out there.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
the affordable, tell me again.
Okay. Unfortunately, the program has ended now.
Okay, but
But
it was available for a while, and that's where we before you answer, information is so important. Is when that something like that comes, you want to be able to communicate what is a solution to people that didn't know it existed. So were you telling your clients about that program and being able to connect them up with a tablet at the time?
yes, so the Affordable Connectivity Program was created because during the pandemic, it was discovered that 120 million Americans didn't have access to the internet. And
Wow.
so Congress and the president, they passed, it used to be the broadband benefit with the cell phones. And
Hmm.
then it morphed into the ACP, the Affordable Connectivity Program. Now, the program was earmarked for 15 years um, with billions of dollars, but it started in 2021. And because the need was so large, I believe, that it just they ran through the money. And it was because the need was so vast. I mean, because the Affordable Connectivity Program allowed people to be able to get free internet at home through like Xfinity or AT&T. They
Hmm.
also could get cell phones, smartphones,
Hmm.
and or tablets. Tablets had the came with the tablets with their own built-in Wi-Fi. So they
Hmm.
had its own independent Wi-Fi. So that was huge because we all know how seniors are on a fixed income.
Right.
Most seniors are on fixed
Yep.
income, and this was only $10, a flat rate of $10, not a month, just a one-time fee of $10, and they would get the tablet. So, like you said, a lot of people didn't know about it, and information like this should be blasted across, everywhere. But of course, it's not. But that's why that's how I got started with the tablets. And when I Pete, it was very effective, very influential
Sure.
when I was doing it. I probably distributed about between uh in a year and a half, I did anywhere between like 700 to 1,000 tablets.
Wow.
Um, and in it was across I serviced here in Georgia, but
Yeah.
the program was across the country. But but it just ended in March, and I don't know if it's going to come back. But if it does, I'd be happy to see it. But if it doesn't, I still had to pivot. I had to pivot off of that because a lot of my client, I was able to, let's say, go to a neighborhood senior center and get a lot of those seniors qualify for them for those
Mhm.
tablets. Then I would go back and teach them how to use them. And then it's easier to teach when everybody has the same device.
Yes,
So,
totally.
so that was
Oh, yes. You're bringing up a live nerve. I used to teach Evernote classes, and the trouble was you had Android and you had iPhone, and they're completely different. So
yes,
I'd have a mixture in each class, and it'd be like, I don't know the Android because I had an iPhone at the time. It is important, and I always tell, this is just my own thing. I tell people ask me questions, and I'll say, do you have an Android or an iPhone? If they say Android, I said, I can't help you because that's a totally different platform. I can I can navigate my way around an iPhone and an iPad, but yeah, having a uniform, like you said, makes a difference because you're teaching people and you know what they're looking at. You're
right.
not like, oh, you're on the wrong screen because that's a different screen. What are you doing now that is because you were like talked about a lot in a good way, of course,
Well,
that finally somebody, this is what they were telling me, finally somebody's helping us with technology. It was like, and then the DA said, yeah, oh yeah, this that. I talked to him. And so what's your plans for the next couple of years? Because I know you have a great mixture of Medicare and technology. Where do you see the technology part taking you, and what are you looking to do in that space?
okay, great question, Pete. So in the next couple of years, so right now I'm in talks, and it's kind of, I can't reveal it right now.
Yeah.
But I'm in talks with a major doctor's office, senior doctor's office, and I introduced my digital literacy program to them, which
Mm-hmm.
is it's 27 different courses. It's
Mm-hmm.
it runs for it feels like one calendar year,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said before, it will um it's universally applicable to all, so we can it's the universal applicable information, so you can use this on tablets, cell phones, or laptops. So
Woo, that's
yeah,
good.
so I teach on all platforms, so basically.
Right.
But in the next couple of years, with that, starting with that one particular uh senior provider, I can get into their infrastructure. They'll love it so much that my program becomes a part of their infrastructure, and
Yeah.
then that will go nationally. Um,
Oh, I love it. I love a person with
so,
a big vision too.
so
That's awesome because it is needed out there. Because I didn't know senior living until I moved into the. I was doing golf podcasting, and I haven't played golf since I had a stroke that much. Maybe a hole here and there, hit a ball, but I really was playing 5 days a week when before. But all of a sudden, I'm talking golf, but I'm not playing it. I just couldn't. There was a disconnect. But then when I moved to a senior facility, I could see the needs of seniors, and you kind of fall in love with them because there's nothing better that reflection that seniors have because of just where they are in their life of seeing things that other people aren't seeing. Because until you put yourself in now you're a little younger, but you're dealing with seniors, so it doesn't matter that you're like, I've had some people say, man, I never realized how cool it was to work with seniors because it's just very unique, very different. They have a different perspective, but you're closing the gap on the technology. Technology drives everything. Our economy is built on technology.
yes,
So if you're not getting up with, you can't say, I'm never going to have a tablet. I'm just going to, have a magazine for the rest of my life. You have to be learning, and then you have to be growing, but you have to have the vehicle to grow. And I think what you're describing to our viewers is 26 programs that you've identified can bridge the gap
Yes.
between, not knowing much about technology and getting better at it. Because I've always told somebody, it's okay where you are today, but it's not okay to stay there. You got to grow. You got to learn. And like you said, I love that. Hey, solitaire's fun. It keeps your mind busy, but technology is going to continue to advance. And if we don't, as seniors, say, we've got to bridge the gap to these new things that'll help us access more quality of life, really, because it gets down to quality life when we get to my age. You look at it differently. So let's get back to the 26. Did you like in your work with them, were your seniors saying, I wish I could get this? Is that how you came up with the 26 core classes?
Well, what I did, Pete, was all right. So at the end of each year, in my end of the year review, with the group of seniors I was working with, which was about 75 different seniors, I gave them a survey at the end of the year, and I asked, I wanted to know how they liked the classes that that I was currently teaching, and what were some things that they like to see in the future. And so they gave me about, at the time I had about 10 classes that I was teaching. And so they, with their feedback, it gave me about another 5. And then the next 11 or 12, I identified like, hey, this is something that they would need. And it's something as small as, like, one of the classes is Shazam. All right. How many times do you hear a song and you like the song, you just don't know what the song is?
Yep.
And it'll, you can easily identify it with Shazam. It's just another alternative. I call it another tool for the tool belt. So you wouldn't build a house with just a hammer. So you have to have nails, you have to have concrete, you have to have all these different tools and these resources in order to build the house. So what I'm doing is building a foundation and giving these different tools to the seniors. And I had a senior, and it broke my heart, Pete. I just have to say, this is my first one, Pete. Miss Mary, one of my students, just passed last week, and it touched me, Pete, because she was always looking forward to my classes. In the very first class she came in, she says, well, I don't know much. But I said, you know what, Miss Mary? I said, you know what? You're going to be one of my best students because you know more than what you think you know. And then she, the next, we had class that week. 2 weeks later, I came back. She started, regurgitating the things that I said the week before. And she pulled out her notes and she's answering questions, telling the rest of the class about it. And so I would just have to take a moment and say, hey, Miss Mary, we miss you and we love you.
Yeah, just what you're talking about. I've gone to a number of funerals because when the average age over here is 80, but there's plenty of people in their 90s, there is end of life. We don't escape our life without. I mean, there's a time where we're going to be moving on, and
Right.
it is hard when you meet and you build relationship with people and they're no longer here. So I know what you're saying. Let me ask you this. You were law enforcement for 20 years. You
Yes.
mentioned something about serving after you got. What did it teach you about serving that you are using in your life today?
Probably patience. My wife always says, that I have the patience of Job. and dealing with all different kinds of people from all different walks of life. It kind of got me into the space where I can communicate with anybody, you know,
Mhm.
and I'm comfortable, and I can relate to people. And so probably just all of that experience, the experience part of it, just dealing with people,
Mhm.
because law enforcement is all about people, and just dealing with, you could kill a fly with a hammer, but that's not necessary. You know, Sometimes it's just the lightest touch will get, or the lightest word will get somebody to do something instead of the big to the force. So I'm a master at being able to talk and communicate with people.
Mhm.
I think that's my biggest gift.
Yeah, that's kind of like the superpower we will talk through on different podcasts because you can tell people's superpower sometimes after a number of podcasts. Yeah, I could see that would be the case because it's, you know, we're in the world of people, whether you're an introvert or extrovert,
Right.
it's still people, it's still relationships. And there was a podcast I listened to, and that's all I do. I don't have TV, I don't have social. I very seldom use the phone except to talk on it. I could probably go back to a flip phone and be okay, but I do like Chat GPD and some of these things where I can get information specifically to what I'm asking for. And
Right.
I use it to summarize books. I say, give
Hmm.
me the 5 main points of this book. And then I get them in my mind. Then I read the book and I kind of retain a little bit more just by using a tool.
Right.
So tell me, like, I want our viewers to kind of grab this. What do you say to people that are intimidated by technology? How do you bridge them? Because see it all the time. I don't want to learn that new remote control. You just different things. How do you work with people that, and let's just say our seniors that are not wanting to take the leap to learn about technology? What do you say to
All right. So what I use one of my I use a quote from my favorite head coach, Kirby Smart, which says, "We burn the boats and we can only move forward." So I apply that to technology, and I tell our seniors, and when I tell them that, it kind of resonates with them because they know what I'm talking about.
them? Hmm.
And
Yep.
I just had a young lady talking some management telling me the other day, "Oh, Chet, I don't think they'd like that class because they won't do that." I said, "Well, you know what? And that's why I want to teach them that, because
Yeah.
you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable,
Yes.
because it's
Yes.
not it's not going anywhere." And I say, if you don't, you'll get left behind. So we have to do this. And I tell them it sounds more complicated than it really is, but
Mm-hmm.
let me show you how to do this, because I don't do it for the seniors. In our classes, it's very interactive. Um, the seniors will, when we create the Gmail, they create it. They don't. I don't create it. I put it on the PowerPoint, and I go in. We go from steps A through Z on how to do this. So we go step by step. And Pete, when I tell you there's no greater high that I get when somebody, I remember a young lady said, "Oh, this is so much fun. I'm learning." I'm like, "Oh,
Yes.
that's music to my ears." I'm
Oh
like,
gosh.
that's
Yes.
what that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And so that is what I tell the seniors. I tell them, but then I show them.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to grab them by the hand, and seniors are the population that you have to gain their trust. But once you gain the trust,
Mm-hmm.
you can't do anything wrong with them. And
Yeah.
so once I get a group, and now you have to do what you say you're going to do. If I
Yep.
say I'm going to be here on this day, I have to, because if not, somebody's going to be calling me and be like, "Chet, where are you? We're waiting on you."
Yeah.
But I enjoy that because that's my life's work right now.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. And life is learning no matter what age you are. And it is when we stop learning is when things start to go downhill. And we want people to embrace learning, but it is intimidating, just general technology, because it's until we discover an easier way to learn that we don't move forward. And so I like how you say, be uncomfortable before, that's just part of life. And I don't think any senior will disagree with you, but nobody is bridging it for them, because you do have to take them by the hand at first. I'm sure when Mary just started, it was like, she's probably going, man, this is tough. But then once she got the hang of it, she's like you said, your best student, because she's teaching others.
Right.
And I can think of Leonard Abbott. He was on our podcast earlier. He's mentoring, bringing youth with seniors to kind of like they help our youth understand wisdom, and our seniors. I mean, our seniors get to hang around with youth that know this stuff, because if you're 25, you grew up with this. You know
Right.
how to do all this stuff. But if you're 85, you didn't grow up with this. But
Right.
together, you're bridging. I wonder if that has a name to it. Bridging the technology gap. I think I'm knowing somebody that's bridging the technology gap. So I'm loving it. I want our viewers to understand there's so many. Ooh, you got a thumbs up here, chat. So somebody's liking what they see. I don't know who it is, but here, I want our viewers, because I want to be respectful of your time, but I want to continue our dialogue with technology and helping our seniors with that. So how can they get a hold of you?
So it's several ways. As you say, this is my phone number right here, 404-492-6377. I'm also on the web. You can go to my website, www.bridgingtechnologiesatl.com. You can Google that and you'll find me. And I'm also on Facebook and Instagram at Bridging Technologies ATL.
Awesome. Like anything, we always take commercial breaks. So we want to let our viewers know that this commercial break is we're going to help our seniors laugh, because everybody needs a little laughter in life. And so our adult children who are real busy in their careers, we want you to take your mom and dad out for a date and come see us on May 22nd up in Kennesaw. This is at Grace Church, which Ken Kington, who's a nationally known comic, he's a clean comedian, and he's going to make it really funny, because the cool thing about this, our seniors can experience it. This QR code, which you alluded to, just get your phone out, take a picture of this, and it'll bring up a website on YouTube, which is called Dry Bar, where Ken is going to give you 45 minutes of gut-wrenching laughter. You're going to laugh harder than you've ever laughed, because this guy is good. And what we'd have, starting at 6 o'clock on that Wednesday night, the 22nd, we have two other comedians. Larry, who's one of us, he's a senior.
Okay.
You know Larry, and he's hilarious. And Melissa's a rising star in the community, and she's our organizer, bringing comedians together with our senior community to help entertain. Hey, we all got to laugh. We came out of COVID, and man, we were separated. We were on edge, and we didn't know all the things that had happened. But now, get back, laugh, hang out with your kids, call up your mom and dad and say, Mom, I got a date night. I'm going to take you to a comedy show at Grace Church, and from 6 to 7:30. We made it early enough that you could be in bed by 9 o'clock. So we thought of our seniors, but we're also going to feed you. So not big meal, but we're going to do from 6 to 7:30, 6 to 6:30, two comedians, Larry and Melissa, will come on. We'll take a break. We want you to know about people like Chet, because you don't know what you don't know And a well-kept secret never serves anybody. So you'll be able to come out, hang out with our vendors, get to know where Chet's teaching classes, know where people have resources that are going to help your mom and dad. Because senior living changes. You can go from senior to, independent living, which I live at Overture, to assisted living real quick when your skills start going down. And you can be in memory care quicker than you know. And you as kids, I'm speaking to myself, my mom's 94, so I know. Your needs change, and you have to be aware of all the different people like Chet that can help you in your journey with your mom and dad. So that's our commercial break. We always have commercials because, hey, look, we're not a TV station, we're a podcast station. Okay, so Chet, all right,
Yes.
as we close down, I'm going to put you on the spot because I always like to put people on the spot. Would you come back and be on our Technology Matters podcast and dive into more of the courses that you make available, and maybe where people will have that website where people can get access to you to be able to get these courses and learn and grow and bridge that technology gap?
I would absolutely love it, Pete.
Okay.
Yes. Just let me know when, and I'd be happy to.
Okay, we're going to set it up. Actually, today, this is why it's a big day. I've been working 15 hours a day, 6.5 days a week for this day. We're introducing 30 niche podcasts in May every week. And one of the podcasts, which I can think of about 8 of them you could be on, one of them is Technology Matters. So we're gonna get you, because like it says, technology makes a difference in our life. If we embrace it, we learn it, we grow, we know our resources, we're able to enjoy life a little bit better, because we're not going back to the 50s. We're moving up to the 2050s.
That's right.
So tell our viewers, okay, did we give them your information? Call Chet at 404-492-6377, or go to his website, and we'll put that up. And also, I'm sorry, I have one more thing. So if you want to get tickets to our event, you're a viewer, and you go to podcasterpkane.com. The first link on the link tree is how to get tickets. And the tickets are $15 a piece, or you can buy groups of 10. So if you're a senior living facility and you want to buy tickets and offer them, you can get them for $10 a piece. You buy them in groups of 10. So you can call me if you have any questions. If you're a vendor out there and you want to be a part of this, just give me a call. We have something really cool. We want to put people like Chet in front of you so you know the different resources that are out there. So it's a lot. But tell our viewers, what's the one thing you would want our viewers to take home from our time on this podcast?
All right. I'm glad you asked that, Pete. Just when it comes to technology, if you're afraid of it, that's good because you don't know about it. But don't be so afraid that you won't look into it. I felt the same way about artificial intelligence because I felt like, hey, this is almost like, thinking like the Terminator. Like this is Skynet. They're going to take over everything. They're taking all the jobs, but it's actually not like that. And I went and took a class on it to try to learn, to practice what I preach. Hey, so I did that and I learned a lot. And I see that AI is a tool and not anything to be afraid of. And so I will say that for our seniors. Hey, don't be afraid of it. And if you need some help, I'm here to help.
I love that. And the cool thing about what you just said, AI is a tool. And let me share, I use it all the time. And my partner was telling me, Pete, you got to dive into this. And I was like a little hesitant because I had a lot going on. But once I did, man, it's my preferred way to search for stuff, to really find its answers to stuff. Like what you can put so much in there, and it's on your phone. So I get I'm always on there like asking it questions and getting answers, because
Yes.
the one challenge as we wind down that I found is reliable sources. Not that everything you read you want to take as gospel, but here it's accumulation of data. And so it's more, nobody pays to be in AI. It's
Right.
accumulation of stuff. So you can get unfiltered information. Now, granted, it's from the past, it doesn't have a future, but it still gives you a good tool as a senior to be able to find out answers to some of your questions that you might have, that you can get good, legitimate answers. So, Chet, thank you so much for being with us. I appreciate you taking the time to share with our viewers and our seniors resources that can help them bridge the technology gap.
And thank you for having me, Pete. Now, looking forward to the next one.
We're looking forward to having you back. All right.
Yes.
Thanks.